Hello and welcome to Quote of the Week. In this episode we're going to be looking at William Shakespeare's The Tragedy of Macbeth. In particular, we're going to be focusing on the quotation, "Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player." So just a reminder, this quotation appears in Act 5 after the death of Lady Macbeth, and it's spoken by Macbeth himself. So what I'd like you to do on your whiteboards now is get this quotation written down and make notes on the following. Firstly, I want you to try and identify any techniques or language devices that you can spot. Then I'd like you to focus on some keywords that might be worthy of analysis. I'd like you to discuss the playwright's possible intentions, how an audience might be impacted, an audience's interpretation, and finally, what we learn about life at the time. So get your whiteboards ready, the time is going to start now. Okay, well done. On this slide are some of the techniques that Shakespeare has employed in this quotation. Check these against your own, and if there's any terms that you don't understand, clarify them with your teacher. In terms of analysis, in an exam you'll be expected to explore the language that Shakespeare has used. So as you can see, some of the analysis is on the screen in front of you. You can see that the word shadow has been used to imply that life no longer has meaningful substance for Macbeth. A shadow is something without form, and his life now has no substance to it. This also implies that Macbeth has adopted a nihilistic outlook on life. In other words, life no longer has any meaning to Macbeth. The general tone of this quotation is one of weariness, depression and defeat, and that coincides with the death of Lady Macbeth and indicates to the reader that something bad is going to happen at the end. It's probably not going to have a happy ending for Macbeth. The word walking is used as a verb which implies ponderous movement. Macbeth is no longer defined by his action as he was in Act 1, now he's walking from one place to another without any sense of purpose. Finally, this is an example of irony. As Shakespeare refers to actors on a stage, the final question that's raised through this quotation is the concept of fate and destiny, and the ultimate question, are we in control of our own fate? On this slide you can see some examples of language that will be useful to use in an exam scenario, so if there's any words that you don't understand, please feel free to pause the slide now and clarify any terms with your class. And last but not least, on the final slide you can see there are a few questions in the yellow box for you to answer, and on the right hand side there's an example response that will get you an exceptional mark in an exam scenario. Thanks very much for watching this episode, and I'll see you next week.